Shalom, Israel. We are the I.S.U.P.K, the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, where we are led by the amazing Commanding General YAHANNA. And this is the I.S.U.P.K Port Arthur / Beaumont Friday Lashawan Qadash class, where we go over the ancient Hebrew. This is our culture. As Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, our culture is we're not supposed to speak Spanish, English, or French, or not Haitian, but patois. We're not supposed to. Those languages are pigeon tongue languages that were given to us by the oppressor. Our language is the Lashawan Qadash, which means holy tongue in the Hebrew. Our culture is to speak Hebrew, and that's what this class is. We're going to go over the Hebrew. We're going to learn some things in the Hebrew, and we're going to go over them, and we're gonna write in the ancient Assyrian and in the ancient Paleo. Yes, sir. So I'm gonna first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go over the alphabet like we do in every class. This is the Hebrew alphabet. And in Hebrew, we read from right to left. So the alphabet is going from this side to that side. And I'm going to go over it with you. Starting with, there's 22 characters. The first one is A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Ha, Ta, Ya, Ka, La, Ma, Na, Sa. I, Pa, Qua. Before we get started, I just want to say that's how you know that the ISUPK is the home of the truth, because we don't abandon any parts of our culture. You know, so because just because how we may feel or what we may think. The Wada Yahawashah, the Wada Yahawah Yahawashah for Commander General YAHANNA and the ISUPK, because we held on to our culture. Speaking this in Hebrew is only done in the ISUPK. Black, Hispanics, Native Americans only teach the Hebrew. And that's why we are affiliated with no other Hebrew Israelite group, because in this group we hold on to our culture. We teach the Hebrew. We read the Hebrew every Sabbath, and every Friday we go over it. So today's class is a basic class. It's nothing too intermediate. What I'm going to be going over is the seasons. On one of my previous classes, I went over forecast. We should remember that rain is Gasham. Snow is Shalag, cloudy is Ainan, and heat is Hamam, or hot, Hamam. So today we're going to be going over the seasons. It's summer right now. We're just getting into the hotness of the summer. So that's where I'm going to start off. I'm going to start off with how to say summer in Hebrew. Let me just get my board set up. Okay, so what we have here is the word summer. That's it's not the first season, but this is the first season I'm starting with. The season we're in now. The first season from reading the Bible, we know that the first season is spring, because that's when everything comes to life. Spring, and then comes summer, which we're in now, and then goes to fall, and then goes to winter, and then it starts over again. Spring, summer, fall, winter. And those are the 4 seasons. So summer, how to say that in Hebrew is Koyatazah. Koyatazah. That's how you say it in Hebrew. Of course, we have a phrase. It's the beginning of summer. In Hebrew, how to say it's the beginning of summer is Ra'ash Shayaf Ha Koyatazah. So that's how you say that in Hebrew. And I'm going to go and this wouldn't be a Hebrew class if I didn't write it in the ancient Hebrew. So I'm going to write Koyatazah in the ancient Hebrew and in the Assyrian. That's how it's said. That's how you can see it in the ancient Hebrew, and the ancient Paleo, and in the Assyrian. There's the Qua, which we went over earlier in the Hebrew alphabet. We have the Qua, the Ya, and the Tazah. Qua Tazah, summer. And if you can see clearly, you see these lines underneath each Hebrew letter in the Paleo. Those are our connectors. So we got to have our connectors in the Paleo, and then the Assyrian, we don't have any connectors. So that's how you write down Koyatazah in the ancient Hebrew. And of course, we're going to write our phrase as well. It's the beginning of summer, Rosh Hashanah, Ha Koyatazah. And we know from other classes, more intermediate classes, that Ha Koyatazah is the root word here, meaning the. Ha is the summer. And this word would be the root word in this word would be shayat, but the conjugation of this word will be it is the beginning. It's now the beginning of the summer. So Rosh Hashanah Ha Koyatazah. So starting from right to left, we're going to write that down in the ancient Paleo and Assyrian. So I made a mistake. It's Ra'ashyah, not Ra'ashyah. There's only one show. It's Ra'ashyah. So Ra'ashyah Ha Koyatazah. Ra'ashyah. All right. So now we have there we have it in our phrase. It's the beginning of summer. Ra'ash Yaf Ha. Here we have the Ra, A, Sha, Ya, and Th. Ra'ash Yaf with our connectors to make it how it sounds. Ra'ash Yaf. It's the beginning of the summer. Ha Kwa Ya Taza. Ha Kwa Ya Taza. It's the beginning of the summer. So that's summer. Remember that for the season of summer. Kwa Ya Taza. So the next season we're gonna get into, going in order, what comes after summer? Fall. So I'm gonna give you the word for fall in the Hebrew and write it down in the ancient Assyrian and the ancient Paleo. The word for fall or autumn is kharab. Kharab. And of course, we have a phrase. The leaves fall in autumn. So that's what we're going to say in the Hebrew. And the word kharab, it's that period of time, that transition from summer to winter, that time in between summer and winter. And it could be used as winter because in some areas of the world, right after the summer, it gets really cold. You see snow, shalag, as we know in the Hebrew. But it could be, it's the word harap can be used as winter or autumn. But we know it's the fall. So I'm going to write fall right here. And there is a word dedicated for winter, if you're wondering that as well. If you're wondering if harap can be used as winter, then what is actual winter? And there is a word just for winter, but there's, like I said, some areas of the world have colder falls than others. So that's why in the Bible, the word is used to it's pretty much that space between summer and winter, fall. So that's what harap is. It could be autumn or winter. That's how it's used. But the leaves fall in the leaves fall in autumn is what our phrase will be. Okay, got it right. So the phrase is ha'alium Nawapalium. Wow. And Salakia Israel, my markers are dying on me, so this might be kind of hard to read. This is the only marker that I have, or actually the best marker that I have. So, Salakia, if you're not able to read this, I know this is kind of hard to read, but I'm still going to say it. So, Harap is autumn or fall, and the leaves fall in autumn is our sentence. Ha'alim, which is we see the yum at the end, we know that's plural, and this is actually leaves. So plural for leaf is leaves. Ha'alim is leaves. Nawapalium is plural for falling, or something in plural falling, because we know the root word here is Nepal, and it has the conjugate, which we learned in our other classes. The conjugate is wa, and also the pluralization. So Nepalium with the wa in the middle, which means there's currently falling. The, the leaves, Nawapalium, fall, and Bachawarak. This is the word charap, but it's conjugated with the ba in the beginning and the wa in the middle. This is meaning the time of the certain time that the leaves are falling in autumn. But this is the word for autumn, but it's conjugated for the time that the leaves are falling in that space of time. So we have ha'alium, nawapalium, bachawarap, and of course I'm going to write it in the ancient Paleo and Assyrian. I sometimes get my Paleo my Paleo and Assyrian mixed up. So that's Hara. And the ancient Paleo, we have our connectors. We have the Ha, the Ra, and the Pa, making it with the connectors, Hara, and the ancient Paleo. And then the Assyrian, we have the Hara. And the Pa at the end of the Assyrian is the different character than it normally is. We didn't go over the Assyrian characters at the beginning of class, but these are the Assyrian characters. And some characters in Assyrian have different end characters on the words than others, like the na and the taza. Yeah, those at the end of the word, the letter is different. So this is karap in the ancient Assyrian and in the Paleo. Now we're going to go back to our phrase: the leaves fall in autumn. Ha'alium, nawapalium, bacharawat. right. There we have our phrase, the ancient paleo on the top. Ha'alim, because we always go from right to left in the Hebrew. Ha'alim, Nawapalim, Ba'chawara. And we have our connectors underneath, making the vowel, not vowels, but the syllables of the word. That's what the connectors do. I'll explain. Ha'alim, ha'ayil-yum. That's 3 syllables. So we have 3 connectors. The ha, it's only pronounced the ha, so there's a connector under that letter. And then the ayil is the I and the la. So there's a connector connecting those 2 letters, the I and the la, making it ayil. And then the ya and the ma are connected at the end, putting a connector under those 2, making it yum, ha'ayil-yum. So that's how the connectors work. So we have the ancient paleo with the connectors, and then the ancient Assyrian at the bottom. There's no connectors in Assyrian, but all 3 of these words actually have a separate that letter I was talking about. How the letter at the end is different for some letters of the Hebrew alphabet, and the ma is different at the end, and the pa is different at the end. You see, it's this box-shaped letter. Normally, if this ma was in the middle of the word, then it wouldn't be this box. It'd be an open box, not a closed box. And here we see a pa in the middle of the word. The pa, it curves in the middle, but at the end it goes straight down. So that's how we are able to do that. So now we have summer, poyataza, and now we have fall, harap. So what comes next? Winter. That's what we're going to go into next. And in my lesson, normally I have words, or I don't. Normally I have phrases to go with the word, just so we can practice writing down the Hebrew, getting those letters, getting accustomed to writing down those letters that we went over at the beginning of class, and how we sound them out and putting them together to make words in the ancient Hebrew. Because this is just the verbalization. This is actually a word in Hebrew. So the phrases. I mean, it's good to remember them. You can definitely put them in your notes. But really, that's just practice for us to get to writing the Hebrew. What we should try to remember is the actual words that we're going over. Summer is poyataza, and fall is harap. And right now, we can say it's hot this summer. That would be chamam ha poyataza. Summer is hot. But we're going to go over winter. Okay, winter is Satham. It's lucky again, Israel, because these markers are really bad. I know if I try to use a smaller marker, it'll be even worse to see. So this is the best that I have. You know what? I'm going to just use the purple. I'm not going to use black. Sathal, winter, the cold month. A good way to remember this is Shalag is snow and Sathal is winter. So it's shalag. There's shalag in Sathal. There's snow in winter. So the cold season starts with the S, and the snow starts with the S too. Shalag. So Sathal. And then our phrase, we're actually have a preset, or not a preset, but a scripture. And this is the Song of Solomon, 2:11. Again, like I said, this is good for your notes, if especially if you can see. If you can't see, hopefully you can hear me, and you're able to get some notes just from hearing me. But don't worry about trying to. I mean, you can remember this stuff, but don't worry about your. You can remember it and have it for your notes, but don't worry about trying to remember it, because this is just a beginner's Hebrew class. We're going over the seasons, the 4 seasons. That's what we want to try to remember. Remembering these precepts and how to say them in Hebrew, we don't have to get that might be a little bit much for us at this time. But I'm still gonna do it for the practice. I'm gonna write Song of Solomon 2:11, and then I'm gonna write it in the Hebrew for our practice. Okay, so this the book of Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 11. For lo, the winter is past, the rain is over and gone. So we're gonna write that in the Hebrew. You know what? The verbalized, I'm not writing in the ancient Paleo and ancient Assyrian. All up there. We're gonna write Sathal in the ancient Paleo and ancient Assyrian. All right, there's Sathal, which is winter. You have the Sa, the Tha, and the Wa. And the Tha and the Wa make Thaw. So Sa Tha. That's how we say that. And then we have our ancient Assyrian. There's no the Wa at the end is not one of those letters, so that's how it normally looks. Sa, Tha, and Wa, Sathal. So now I'm going to go ahead and write the verbalization of this scripture that we had. For lo, the winter is past, the rain is over and gone. Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 11. Okay, so here we have it. The scripture again, Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 11. For lo, the winter is past, the rain is over and gone. And in the Hebrew, YAHANNA. That's just from going being in these beginner Hebrew classes and knowing what these words mean and also having a little bit understanding of the conjugations, we can even put together what this phrase is trying to say in English through or translate it. So YAHANNA, that would be for lo, and then Hashatha, or sorry, Hasatha will be the winner. So I have for lo, the winner. The ha in front of Satha means the winner. So Hasatha Ibar is past. Ibar is past. Hashagam, the rain. We remember know from our other lessons going over the forecast. Gasham means rain. So Hashagam or Hagasham means the rain. Chalap, we just went over that word. That's autumn. So Hagashan Chalap, it's referring to the rain of fall. Halak, that word means journey, and Lawa will be meaning the journey is completion. So the rain. So there's a comma right here. The rain of the fall, that journey, the rain of the fall journey is complete. That's what this translates to. In the beginning is for lo, the winter is past. The rain of fall's journey is complete. So that's Chayahana, Hasatha, Ibar, Hagasham, Halak, Halak, Lawa. For lo, the winter is past, the rain is over and gone. That's how you say that. So I'm out of room as far as for writing it in the ancient Paleo and Assyrian, and I don't want to take too much time with this either. But the last one, our last season, I do have a bit to do. So far we have summer, Poyataza. We have fall. Slovakia. Then I gotta remember. Fall, Chalap. Fall is Chalap. So summer, Poyataza. Fall, Chalap, and winter, Safa. So the last one we know would be spring, because after winter comes spring. And there's some history on this word that I'm about to give you for spring. We know Passover is in spring. That's when Passover comes. And usually when us in the I.S.U.P.K are celebrating Passover, we have to deal with Christians from the Christian church celebrating Easter. And some of them you may hear called Abib. And that word Abib is actually in the Bible. But I'm going to give you the cut for that right now of why they call it Abib and why it doesn't have any type of relevance. So spring. The Hebrew word for spring is abayab. And I'm going to go ahead and give you the another scripture, and we can actually write this scripture. This is a smaller scripture, so we can practice our Hebrew characters with this scripture, our letters. But the scripture is Exodus 13:4. And this is going to get into why the Christian church tries to use the word Abib as Easter. So the word Abib is definitely in the Bible. So Exodus 13:4 says, "This day came ye out in the month Abib." And going into the scripture, Exodus, I'm gonna pull it in my sword just for a little bit more context. This is when Moses was telling the people of Egypt to remember a certain day. And this day that he was telling them to remember is when they came out of Egypt. And what we know from Passover, that's when, you know, that's what Passover is, remembering when our enemies were destroyed in Egypt. So that's what he was referring to in the scripture as Abib. Now the Christian church uses that word Abib because it said it's for that month, and they get, I think it's called and you might even hear some fake Hebrew Israelites use that, say something of the Feast of Abib for Passover. That the month Abib, when they were saying that, they were pretty much just saying spring, the spring month, because that's what we know is the beginning of the year in the Hebrew calendar, and that's when Passover was. That's when you remember that day for Passover, in the month of Abib, or Abayab in the Hebrew, spring. So I'm going to go ahead and write Abayab in the ancient Paleo and Assyrian, and then I'm going to write this scripture in the ancient Paleo and Assyrian. But I'm going to give us let me see how much time we got. Okay, I'm starting to run out of time because I did want to put all four on the board for your notes. But I'm gonna definitely write the ancient Paleo and Assyrian for Abayab right now for our learning. We won't have time to do the scripture, but we can do these seasons to end off class. So Abayab. All right, there we have it. I should have wrote this a little bit smaller because I can leave that up. I'm gonna try to fit it around. That's a spring in the Hebrew, Abayab, and then in the ancient Paleo, the A, the Ba, and the Ya and the Ba connected, Abayab, Abayab. The Ya and the Ba and the end of the word are connected with one connector, three connectors, and then here it is in the ancient Assyrian. So now for our notes, I'm going to write all four seasons up, and there in the Hebrew. I'm gonna have to erase this, so write a little bit neater. I know I started with summer. That's just because it is summer right now, and I wanted to have that class transition to that ending of the class was Abib and how Passover and how the Christian church uses that word for Easter and really what it means. But I'm gonna write the four seasons in the order of the year. So the first season is spring. Then we go to summer. Then we go to fall. And then finally we have winter. And we know this is how the order of the seasons are, because that's how the Most High works. You know, there's no confusion in the work of the Most High. And this is almost like a life cycle. You're born, the plants are growing, you know what I'm saying, baby blossoms and fresh fresh crops, and the pretty much the plants are beginning to blossom, and so this is the birth. Then the summer, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like the adolescence of the adolescence or young adulthood of the stage of life. You know what I'm saying? We're enjoying the weather. It's hot. You know what I'm saying? The plants are big. Everything is everything. This is how life is. Fall is the later stages in life. You know what I'm saying? Our what do we call it? Our midlife crisis, midlife crisis to golden years. You know, in the older ages, probably, and the falling. And summer, fall, winter in the Hebrew, and then their conjugate. I'm going to give the verbalizations in the Hebrew, and then I'm going to write actually in the Hebrew these words. And we should all be set. Spring, yeah, summer, Koya, Saza, fall, Harak, and winter, Safal. So I'm going to write the ancient Paleo on top and the Assyrian on bottom. Koya Taza for summer, 3 letters. Koya Taza. Harak, 3 letters for this one too. Ha, Ra, and Pa, but it sounds like there's only 2 syllables for this one. Harak. So there's only 2 connectors, and that is fall. Harak. Finally, we have winter. Sathal. 3 letters for this one and 2 syllables, 2 connectors. All right, I'm gonna try to get a better picture so you guys can have this for your notes. Leave it on the screen. If you'll be kind to rewind, you'll have it for your notes, or take a minute and write it down. My apologies again, Israel. The marker situation today is not that great, but I'm going to go over it one more time verbally. We have spring at the top, Abayab. That's how you say spring in Hebrew. Then summer is Koyataza. And then fall is Charat. And then winter is Sathal. And at the end of each word, you see the Paleo, the ancient Paleo at the top, and then the ancient Assyrian right below. So that brings us to the end of class, Israel. Thank you for joining me. With that, I'm going to say Shalom, Yahweh, Shem, Yahweh, Shah, Barakatah to the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh, Shamar, Elatan, Ba'ashem, Yahweh, Shah to the sisters. And Shalom.